Well, welcome back to the Made by Hand Shop. I'm Bobby Sharp. On today's episode, we have a special guest that will be dropping by a little bit later, my twin brother Robbie, and you'll want to stick around toward the end of the video and check him out as he works in the shop with me today. But on today's episode, what we're going to do is install this shelf that creates a cubby, and this will give us a spot to put clamps, the nail gun, or say our screw gun or something like that, so that we don't lay things on top of the outfeed table and they'll just get in the way when we're trying to work up there. So the cubby will be a nice place that we can stick things in and we know exactly where they are and pull them back out. And there'll actually be a cubby on the other side of the outfeed table, but we won't cover the installation of that. It'll just be the same as this side. So let's get into today's episode. And with the addition of this new stop block and clamp, it makes using the crosscut sled so much easier and just a joy to use. As with all our projects, we start by cutting out the pieces that we need to their appropriate sizes, and that's what I'm doing here on the table saw. And I tell you what, this outfeed table and new table saw stand has been a joy to use. It makes cutting large pieces of plywood so much easier, and the cut quality seems to be so much better as well. These are some scrap 18mm plywood that will make up the cleats that will actually support the shelf. Here I'm cutting poplar to act as a banding for the front of the shelf. Here I'm setting up my table saw to cut a notch in the poplar banding that will attach to the 1/2-inch plywood. Well, now that we have the table saw set up, I will run the actual pieces through and cut that notch in the poplar banding. I'm using my Bosch jigsaw to cut a notch in the shelf. This notch is needed to clear the frame of the outfeed table. The piece of plywood you see me installing here will help support the piece of plywood that forms the back of the shelf. And I'm installing the back of the shelf at this point. We'll get to that mistake here shortly. Here I'm drilling some pilot holes and countersinking some holes for some screws. These are the cleats that will actually support the shelf, and you'll see me installing those in a minute. I'm installing the cleats that will actually support the shelf. And here's that mistake that I was telling you about. Yep, it won't fit as one big piece.
Funny. You're a funny guy.
So why am I removing this cleat? The cleat needed to be cut off in the front just a little bit because the trim, the poplar trim, was a little bit thicker than I thought. And here we are simply gluing the trim onto the front of the shelf. I will mention here that all these pieces for the shelf were sanded prior to the polyurethane being applied, and I sanded between 2 coats of polyurethane as well. Okay, so he put a coat of clear polyurethane on there. Actually, it's polyacrylic from Minwax is what we use. And you ready to install this shelf? Yeah, I'll install it. You don't have to be a butthole about it. All right, I'll put the back on there. Do I have to hold it? Is it winning over there? It sounds like it's winning. You're not in here. Hold that thing for me. Come on. What's the hold up? Really? Alright, that's good. Alright, yeah, looks good on this side. Alright, you can screw it in now. Yeah, put the 4 screws in. Really? Yeah. taking forever. Yep, there it is. Well, there you go, folks. We have a nice little cubby to put clamps and our drills in, keep them off of the work surface. And hope you enjoyed this episode. And as always, be all you can be. But best of all, be sharp. Stay safe in your shop, everyone.